Hi and welcome to bexbugoutsurvivor. Brought some rope with me today because we're going to put a safety line up between two trees. Now once you put your safety line up, you can use a couple of prussiks and then you can attach your tarp to your line above. A lot of people believe the only reason you have a line to each tree is just to move the tarp. It's not. It's a safety line from deadfall from above. So I make sure my line is very thick 6mm rope rather than a paracord that you make these cheap little bracelets out of. So I'm going to tie what we call a trucker's hitch. Now if I have a span of tree here and I've made my loop and I have a very long section of rope, it does mean I don't really want to cut that rope just because I have found my span of tree. There's no way I want to cut this rope. This rope is 47 foot, 6mm proper paracord. This is paracord. This stuff is not. I'm nowhere near as thick as a 6mm, with this being I think 2mm. So it's up to you if you want to trust your life to deadfall with 2mm bracelet cord. Be my guest. So let me discuss the problem. I've made my hitch to one tree and then I put the loop to feed through for a trucker's hitch on tree number 2. I have got a lot of cord to feed through that loop. Now I'm going to do it the regular way, then I'll show you my way, which is going to save a lot of time, a lot of effort, especially taking it down. I've chosen my 2 trees that I'm going to show you this. On one end I have my prussiks. I have quite a few actually. I have 2 for the tarp and 2 for other reasons. Now I'll be using the Siberian hitch or the evenk to tie the first part onto the tree. Then we'll come over to the trucker's hitch and I'll show you the issue. So let me just get the first part around this tree over here. Just a very simple evenk knot, and I've shown this on multiple other videos of how to do this. Goes up as quick as that. With this other side, I still have a lot of cord left over. When I come to this second tree, before I get to the tree, I put my loop in. Now it's handy if you know the trucker's hitch already before watching this video. If you don't, just use your YouTube search and somebody will have shown you how to do the trucker's hitch. Now here's my loop. I've got a lot of line here to feed through my second loop at the second tree. It's no big deal, but it's not the best or the quickest or the only method. So here's my loop. I've gone around the tree and I have to start feeding my line through this loop. 47 foot I have here, and there's no way I'm going to cut it. Here we go. Now that's through. Get my tension just by pulling to give a 2-to-1, I think, ratio there. So I've put all that line through the loop. However, we don't need to do that. We can just manage it a different way. Over on the first tree I tied the evenk. So tree number 1, get that evenk up with enough tail that it's almost reaching the ground. I'd say maybe 4 foot, 5 foot. Come back over to the second tree where usually we make the loop for the trucker's hitch. Now I've got to undo all this. Through it comes again. All this feeding through this loop is what I'm going to eliminate. Okay, so now when I come around the tree, instead of making a loop for another trucker's hitch, I'm going to make another evenk. So there you go, another evenk knot. So I have an evenk on each tree. The trouble is, the line's gone loose. So now I go back to tree 1, undo the evenk. Now I put the trucker's hitch in tree 1, the one I started with. So evenk, evenk. Come back to evenk on tree 1, then retie the trucker's hitch. And I only got 4 to 6 foot of cord to pull through that loop, not 47 foot. So quick release the evenk, just pull that. There you have it. Now I put my loop in. Again, if you don't know how to tie a trucker's hitch, please learn it on YouTube. Now I only have a very short amount of cord to bring through that loop and start to get the tension. And I'm sure there's going to be a load of you wanting me to show you the trucker's hitch. Perhaps I'll do it in another video, but I'm not the only guy on YouTube, and I know for a fact trucker's hitch, there'll be hundreds of people showing you that. So there you go. I've got a tight line here, can get that a bit tighter actually. So all I've done is remove the requirement to bring so much line through the loop that you make on tree number 2. I've reduced that requirement to just a thin tail of about 3 foot I have here. When I break down, I can break down off either side because it's a quick release. And when I want to bring the cord through the loop, I am not bringing 47 foot through there, just, there you go, 3 foot. Undo the loop of my trucker's hitch, over to tree number 2, and there you have it. So knot number 1 is called the evenk. It's also known as a Siberian hitch, and you can find that by typing it into the YouTube search box. The trucker's hitch, which is the knot we'll need at tree number 2, that's what it's called. And again, you can find that on YouTube, readily available. I don't really want to do knot videos because there's nothing new to see when 1.2 million people are all doing the same thing. And on this channel, I don't like replicating things that have already been seen so many times. On bexbugoutsurvivor, I want to show you something different. So if you do have a large line like this, 47 foot, it leaves a lot of tail to get through that loop that we made on tree 2. You're pulling a lot of line through. So a little recap. Tree 1, as you tie it, make sure there's enough tail, about 4 foot, and tie an evenk. Come to tree 2, also tie an evenk, not a loop for the trucker's hitch. So it's evenk, evenk. Come back to tree 1, undo that evenk. Now put your trucker's hitch loop in tree 1. You're only going to have 3-4 foot to feed through that loop. It's quick, it's super quick. And more than that, if you want to get away in a hurry, you don't want to be pulling 47 foot minus the tree span through your loop. So that's a little tip for you, that's a little different. and I will get round to doing the knots video perhaps later in the year, and it'll be a new series perhaps called Sheeple Sunday, where I just recreate ideas everyone already should know. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you out there. Happy trails.